Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Sachin Sinha. He's an engineer and entrepreneur with passion to simplify things with technology, especially in data analytics and machine learning. He's the author of BangDB, a high-performance NoSQL database, and founder of iCollect. So welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Grateful to have you here. We'll dive into the first one. The first question I have for you is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
I feel what I've learned over the years in early phase of my life was that persistence and hard work actually pay off. If you see in my early years, I was not into studies, and I was a sports person. And I did not study till grade 6th and 7th. And suddenly I realized that what I wanted to do was to create some cool things into technology, and especially in the computer space and software space. And by the time I was already in 11th. But I was determined to go into it. And to do that, I had to go and take the exam, one of the toughest exams in the world, which is the entrance exam for the IITs here in India. So I bought books from 6th, standard 6th and 7th and 8th and until 12th. And then I really put in extra hard effort, and I got into the institute. And then I got the opportunity to learn computer science. And then today, what I'm doing is actually building the software products. So what I realized early on was that the persistence and hard work, and if we put in enough effort in that area, then eventually we'll get what we aim for. So this is one of the early things that I learned.
And what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
See, I deal a lot into AI and machine learning, and the way things are shaping up, nobody has a clear idea how things will shape up in let's say next 3 years or 5 years. So we should all be ready for a lot of shocks and surprises, especially from the AI and machine learning. And then things will evolve. The society will also evolve. There are a lot of people talking about different dangers and repercussion of these technology. But the way I see it, things will eventually evolve, and we'll create enough firewall and constraint and guidelines in order to deal with that in a peaceful manner. And at the same time, I feel that the technology that we're using to solve some of the future aligned use cases, that also have to move away from the traditional approach and apply some of the newer stuff and the cooler stuff that is coming up. So I feel that the security, especially the way we interact with each other on the social media, all of these things will also get impacted with the AI. Of course, there are a lot of things that will happen in IoT and machine-to-machine interaction use cases.
And what is your best piece of overall business advice, so not necessarily industry specific?
I feel that trying to solve the problem holistically and create something which you feel that the user and the customer, that they have need and they will like to use it. If suppose we focus on that, then the rest of the things, they actually tend to follow. Instead of focusing on revenue and bottom line and all those things early on, if we start focusing on the product market fit and whether there is a need for the solution of the product that we are building, and if you are building with full heart, those are the things I think if we do in initial 3-4 years, rest of the things they start falling into place.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I should have started 5 years early. In 20s itself, I should have actually jumped into in this entrepreneurial journey instead of waiting until 30. So that definitely I would like to tell myself.
And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
I think, building or creating things out of thin air that gives ultimate pleasure. So freedom and ability to do what you like, and then you earn your living as well doing that. I think, according to me, that's the ultimate definition of happiness.
And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
See, this is a good question. I would choose a book from, there is a book called Gita. It's one of the most influential books in Eastern philosophy, and it means the message, the song of God. And what it actually says is that you just do your karma, that you just focus on your work and don't bother about results. Because if your work is good and your effort is enough, the results will always be, better for you.
Yeah, I love that. And what is your favorite quote and why?
Here I like what Nikola Tesla said: "The present is theirs, the future for which I really worked is mine." So I like this quote.
Awesome, man. Thank you again for coming on. The last question that I have for you before we let you go is, where is the best place for people to find and connect with you online?
Twitter, LinkedIn, any.
Perfect, man. Thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Tyler. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.